Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, what is good? What is good? What is good, beautiful people? Of course, you know who I be, Good Doc, Dr. Mike TV. Part two, ladies and gentlemen, part two. Didn't get a chance to finish the live show we did earlier, so I'm coming back to complete it as it needed to be done. Earlier, guys, we were talking about the American dream, right? We were talking about whether it is still attainable, what's going on in the world today, inflation and all of that stuff. It does play a major part in whether we choose to move abroad or whether we choose to remain where we are, right? And before we got disconnected, we were talking about how the digital nomad lifestyle was a lifestyle choice that a lot of people were looking to go for. But if it doesn't necessarily fit your particular skill sets of sorts, what would potentially be is the fact that you're not going to find any interest in the idea of being a digital nomad. You'll find that more so when you're younger expats, probably within the age range of 40, 45 max to below. I think anybody in their 50s or so at that particular age is looking to retire. So there's not too many people out there in their 50s or so. Not saying that they're not people, but if they haven't been a part of that marketing industry of sorts where digital nomad lifestyle is more appealing, by the time you hit 50 or so, if you've been working the exact same job, it's going to be very difficult for you to make that change or to make that switch up. So when you're at a particular age, I kind of feel like, it's going to be a make or break. And about 50, man, you guys are looking to retire anyways, right? And if you hear firecrackers and stuff going off in the background, guys, they're shooting off fireworks, in the backyard, and it's loud. So if you do hear that coming through the mic, my bad. But I'm gonna try not to allow it to distract me too much. But yeah, about the time you 50, 55 or so, you're looking to retire, y'all. Y'all not looking to how can I say this? You're not necessarily looking to get into a new career field. And when you go abroad, you're looking to rely more so on a pension, retirement plan, and things like that. Those are the things that you're looking to rely on more so when you're at that particular age range. Like I said, digital nomad lifestyle isn't for everybody, but that's one way to get abroad quicker if that is the choice that you choose to make. And also, like I mentioned in the other live stream, if you guys are at a point in your life wherein you're not necessarily comfortable with the area in which you're living in, or it's becoming expensive to live in certain areas, there are certain people that choose to just go live in other areas, cheaper cities. Let's see. If you work in Raleigh, but you live in Fayetteville, right? Like I do in North Carolina, guess what? Cost of living in Fayetteville is a whole lot different than the cost of living in Raleigh or the cost of living in a place like that. And the reason it's cheaper is because there's just, that's just the way the city's set up, right? So a house that'll probably cost you $300,000 or $400,000 here where I'm at, probably be about the same, about $1 million or so, or $900,000 or so, if you're living in, Raleigh, a place like that. So again, if it's not so much that moving abroad is the place for you or the act for you, guess what? You can always choose to just live in a different city. Like, yeah, I know my talents are serving you well in the major city of Raleigh, but guess what? Maybe I should move to Goldsboro or Greenville or some shit, maybe like an hour drive outside the city, right? City life ain't for everybody anyways. No different than if you choose to move to the Philippines, right? You'll start to realize that a life in Manila, a life like the Cebu City area, right? You'll start to realize, hey, man, maybe this particular lifestyle ain't for me. Yeah, I like it. There's a lot going on here, but I don't want to live here. I don't mind just visiting here, right? So if that's the case, well, guess what? Why don't you just move to a province or something that's just right outside the city? I think Cavite is like a 45-minute, how can I say this? 45 minutes jeepney ride from like going to like the center of Manila and shit like that. So, people can make those moves, y'all. People can make those moves. And, I do believe that that is feasible, right? So it's not necessarily the fact that you got to go abroad because you feel like you've lost your, lost the zeal or the ability to reach the American dream, or you kind of feel like the American dream might be over for you. So you feel like you can make more moves in a country abroad. But, just got to make your moves how you make your moves. All right. So we got 12 in the building, man. I appreciate all 12 of you guys locking in. If you have not dropped your like, man, make sure you drop the like. Make sure you caress, molest, and distress yourself. Love that like button. Wants it, needs it, most definitely has to have it. If you guys want to support in any capacity, please feel free to do so. But of course, I'm happy and blessed y'all choose to come through, spend a little bit of time with the boy today. Now, young Dan, let's get back to business as usual. My man says he's definitely moving to Thailand. Do you have a time frame on when you're moving to Thailand? Because I would hope that right now you kind of got your finances in order, or you got everything where you want it to be, so that Thailand is a move that you can make. I don't know if that's going to be within a year, next couple of years, maybe 10 years down the line. You know, it's always good to hear what your time frame is on if you choose to move abroad. But if you're not choosing to move abroad, are you choosing to move to a different city? If the cost of living is just, you know, starting to become crazy of sorts, all right? JX, what's up with you, Mike? What's good with you, bro? Mike, I need to send you a text message, bro, so we can talk real quick. He says, I make my move. He said, I'm going on July 16th. This will be the longest stay in the Philippines. How long is your longest stay, sir? How long will be your longest stay? Is it going to be a couple of months? Are you going to try to stretch this bitch out for 6 months? Are you going to try to go for a year? Tell me what represents the longest stay. I want to say that's Dela. What's going on? Appreciate you locking in. If I say your name wrong, don't shoot me. Please don't shoot that. Shout out to my man Smooth. What's up with you, bro? My man Chosen one says, Dr. Michael almost got into a fight with another expat. He got mad and said I cursed too much. I was talking to my friend. I didn't even know this dude. He asked me not to curse while he was eating. He said these expats are crazy. He said he smashed his drink and food on the floor. So he was mad at you because you were cursing too much for him. Now, everybody's entitled to feel the way that they feel. Some people aren't fond of profane language. I agree. Sometimes I feel like I might curse too much. I'll have to take that up with the people who take offense to it. But, you know, like I said, man, everybody was brought up differently, man. Maybe curse words weren't things that he was brought up around. But for him to somewhat seemingly throw a tantrum at you, man, seems a bit out of character for a grown man. But I guess we just don't know. You know what I'm saying? I guess everybody's way of handling situations is different. I'm just glad that it didn't resort to fisticuffs. I am glad that it didn't resort to, you know, fighting, grown-ass men fighting. Because usually when fights happen, sometimes bad things happen, right? So I'm just glad that it didn't necessarily resort to that. All right. My man says, what are your honest opinion on Iloilo? I have not physically set foot in Iloilo, but it has always been a place on my Philippine bucket list. Iloilo has always been a bucket list place for me. I have not seen water that beautiful in a long time, y'all. I have not seen water that beautiful in a very, very, very long time. Okay. Yeah. You know, I mean, it is what it is, but like I said, guys, it's definitely interesting to see how people are viewing the current landscape of the United States, as well as where do they see themselves in the years to come, you know? And if you guys are hearing the firecrackers off in the background, that's just them going ham for whatever reason. My man says I've done 2 months. He said I'm going over for a year this time. Man, I hope that year is a great year for you, sir. I truly, truly do. Now, are we just going to do 1 year, travel around, bounce around, or are we just going to do 1 year, one place, and then, you know, just kind of see where it goes, and then we just make moves after that? I often thought about working for 2 or 3 years straight. This is an idea because somebody told me something hella interesting yesterday, but I don't know how many people feel the exact same. I guess it does depend on what career field and what industry you're in. But somebody told me that every 3 to 4 years or so, they were like, yo, you should change jobs. He's like, every 3, not change jobs or career choices or anything like that, not change careers, but change jobs. Like for me, being a school teacher, working in the county that I work in, right? He said every 3 years or so, change to a different county or go to a different place, maybe a place that pays a little bit more, right? You see, I think that that's meaningful. But what I would do is if I was going to do that, I would kind of say, yo, within that, if I do 3 years at a certain place or 5 years at a certain place, stack up my bread. If I have enough money set aside and everything's going the way that I wanted to, take a year off and then go back into another job. Now, that's if you can afford to do it. Sometimes they don't hold jobs like that. But me being a teacher and an educator, chances are it's not going to be something where I feel like my job is going to go out of style unless they got robots that teach kids how to teach kids. I guess that's the only thing that I think would make our job obsolete. But then again, let's not be surprised if technology takes it that place. But that's what I'm saying, though. They say every 3 years or so change jobs. But if within that 3-year period, you want to take a brief 6 months off or so before you look to get another job, take a little 6 months or your 3 months. I think a year might be too long. But if you feel like you will be able to support yourself for the money that you made within those 3-year periods of you saving up or whatever you wanted to do for that job, and that can sustain you for the year, why not go for it? Some teachers accumulate time off to where they can afford to take a whole year off and still get paid to do it, So I guess that's usually those that are on the way towards retirement. But again, like in certain career fields, somebody told me that, they every 3 years or so change jobs, not career fields, but change jobs. I always thought that was interesting. I don't know if you guys have heard that. Zoom to Thailand. If Thailand is your place, man, let Thailand be your place. I ain't even gonna trip. Y'all do what y'all deem necessary. Okay. My man said, how dare you impede on my freedom of speech? He said, I'm a grown-ass man. That's true. You cannot see, if there's one thing that I've learned to be more prevalent than most right now, is that you cannot, under any circumstances, you cannot control how other people are going to act. Let's keep it real, man. You can't control how other people will act. So you'll ask yourself, what the fuck does that mean? That means exactly like what the fuck I said. You cannot control how other people are going to react. So for you cursing or using profane language, and that's something that he may not be comfortable with, well, guess what? As a man who probably comes from the United States or a place where freedom of speech is prevalent, he's going to express his freedom of speech, right? His First Amendment rights if he's from the United States. So like I said, man, you can't control how other people are going to act around you. I'm just glad that it didn't end in a negative way, right? It didn't end where you guys were going crazy on each other. My man said, free Brittany Griner. Now, you have to understand, she did bring those drugs there herself. And normally I would agree with you, but had she not brung those, well, let's keep it real. It wasn't a lot of drugs. Let me stop. But I kind of feel unfortunate she did bring that stuff to herself. Like, she was very, very much bringing that type of energy to herself.
Do you want whipped cream with it?
Nah, you can just bring them to me. I'm good. My man said, in the tech field, I think you should change jobs every year now. He said, too much money out there unless you have great benefits. Yeah. And like I said, man, if you could do 6 figures, man, that shit dope. Oh, my bad, bro. Thank you. Lady bringing me some strawberries and shit. I should have put no whipped cream. I'm good. But like I said, I'm not in the tech industry, y'all. So for me, it's a little different. But, I mean, like I said, I'm a teacher, man. And I guess for me, having a 401k and all that shit's supposed to be like the thing that you're supposed to aspire for. You guys know that I do invest on my own and shit. But, like I said, everybody different. Everybody built different. My man Mike says, in nursing, changing every year allows you to get higher per hour than staying at one job and relying on the salary increase. I agree. I think that's I do agree. Like, if you stay in a place too long, you're probably going to get capped out, or relying on that salary increase isn't going to happen. Like, for me, every year I get a pay raise regardless. The thing is, in my county, we don't get paid a lot. Let's keep it a buck. Here where I work at, the pay is not the greatest of all times. Now, they do, like I said, every year, regardless, you get a pay raise. But is that pay raise enough to keep up with inflation and, cost of living? Absolutely not, right? So that's where you start to see people make these career moves. Now, if I wanted to go work in a county that was an hour away or 2 hours away, but I still wanted to live where I'm at, now I'm having to take into consideration, all right, I get paid a lot more to work in this county. I might be spending a lot more on gas, but if all I'm worried about is just gas and putting miles on a car, if that's literally all I got to worry about, just the back and forth of it all, that might be something that's doable, right? That might be something wherein, how can I say this? That's just something where you'll probably be more willing to accept that part. All right. My man says, any thoughts on retired military veterans getting their pension and VA compensation taken away if the U.S. economy goes under? My dad gets Social Security. No, maybe not Social Security, but my dad's got a pension. I believe that that's the last thing they'll take away. Honestly. I don't think, see, if there's one thing that I know is the military gets taken care of. The last thing they want to do is take away anybody who served their benefits. Okay. I do not under any circumstances see them taking away your benefits. That's crazy. That's crazy. I don't see that happening. My man says, my sister is a nurse. All she does is deliver babies. Ugh. Not the greatest job on earth, but it pays, right? So who cares? He says, I'm still working and I have my VA benefits. So moving to the Philippines is a mental thing versus a financial thing. You got to do what's right for the mind, people. You got to do what's right for the mind. My man says she knew those drugs were illegal in Russia. She's been going there for over 10 years to play ball. You're right. The fact that she does live an alternative lifestyle in a country where being part of that lifestyle is illegal, I don't feel sorry for the rules, but she does need to be safe. You know, we talk a lot about foreigners coming to the Philippines and understanding the rules and shit, right? That's always something. That's always something. You know, when you go to different countries, you got to know the rules, right? Somebody is shooting off some hella fireworks right now. But you know those rules when you see them, when you're there. So for her to take a chance, even though I do believe what she had on her was a very, very, very small amount of the marijuana in a vape pen or some shit like that, so they say. It was enough to get her locked up, right? Then she went to, I think they said baby girl went to court with a Bob Marley shirt on. That's not the best look either. But again, I'm not here to to kick anybody while they're down, but I do believe that we do have to make better decisions about shit like that, right? We do have to make better decisions with what's going on, all right? I see we got 14 in the building. Appreciate all 14 of y'all coming through, showing love to the good doc, man. If you haven't already dropped your like, Doc would highly appreciate that one. Again, you guys want to support in any capacity, please feel free to do so. But like I said, man, happy and blessed y'all choose to come through. Spend a little bit of time with the boy today. Now and then. All right. Unless you guys got anything else you want to add to it, I'm not going to hold you to it. I just wanted to have a little fun, man. I wanted to politic with y'all about this conversation. I know that, you know, as the world turns and shit, you know, it's not always going to be the easiest choice to make in reference to where you choose to live, you know, what type of lifestyle you want for yourself. Is the American dream or something to still strive for, aspire for, or is the move abroad the move to make? Globe Master, what's up with you, bro? I'm just about to cut out, right? Just wanted to have this conversation. I'm sorry, my bad. Globe Master, there you go. My bad, bro. I was clicking on buttons, bro. JX, the American dream is definitely different things for different people. Everybody's definition of the American dream is different. All right. It might be a set amount of money to be financially free, I guess. It could be different things for different people. Me, financial freedom is all I look forward to, man. Once I got financial freedom, man, don't look at me for shit. I'm good. I don't need anything else after that. All right. But appreciate y'all locking in, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Shout out to all my silent partners out there, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate you. good to see you guys here. Like I said, man, my channel doesn't exist without those that choose to just sit in the background and do nothing. All right. Again, you help me out more than you'll ever know. Shout out to all my brethren who show up in the chat, man. Show some love to the good doc. Keep me on my toes and shit. Appreciate that as well. All right. But if you guys ain't got nothing else to say, man, it's time for the good doc to go and get the getting. So with that being said, man, good doc is definitely officially out. At least knuckle, which means I am going now. Bye-bye. As always, love you guys. Sincerely do. Makita. Mabuhay. Peace.